Hello and welcome to Rolling with Reviews. I'm Will, and with me as always is the person who thinks Hadrian is a good building material for walls,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a review of Hadrian's Wall. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Hadrian's Wall is a draw and write game where players take on the role of a Roman general in charge of constructing a mile castle and bordering wall. Over 6 rounds, players will construct their fort and wall, man the defenses against the Picts, and attract civilians by expanding the city. The winner is the player who accumulates the most renown, piety, valor, and discipline while avoiding disdain. All right, Will, so why did we get this?
Sarah was putting a CSI order and needed $100. No, not that one.
No, sort of.
Yeah.
This is actually the cause why I placed a Cool Stuff Inc. order. So let's go back up a step. Everybody was talking about this game, and I at first dismissed this because I didn't care for the theme.
True. But you like crunchy
Yes.
games that are like roll and writes or flip and writes or
Right.
draw and writes or whichever.
Something
blank
and rights.
write.
Yes, blank and right.
Yes.
And enough people were saying how good it was, and a few people said how good it was despite the theme. So at that point, I had already missed most of the in-stock, and I didn't want to pay full price because it's a pretty expensive game. There's a lot in this box. It's very heavy.
Was it 70, 80?
Something like
up
that.
there.
It's up there. So I waited for it to get restocked at Cool Stuff Inc., got the email notification, and then I placed the order, added a whole bunch of other games to get it over $100.
Yes, now we can build all our walls out of Hadrian.
I don't know why you're trying to build walls out of Hadrian. Poor
You
Hadrian.
are.
I am not.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about why we like the game. There's just so much to do, and that's why we love these crunchy roll and writes. Now, the thing is, if you just look at the whole scope of the game, it is very overwhelming.
Right.
But they do a really great gameplay. I mean, it's not like a mechanism, but rules is that there are goal cards that can guide you through it.
Yeah, so at the start of the game, everybody has a deck that's their own, that's the same. Everybody has the same deck. It's shuffled up and there's 12 cards. There's going to be 6 rounds. Each round, you draw 2 cards. One card you will choose, because they'll have different information on them, and that will give you resources. The other one gives you a goal to go after.
Right.
And the fact that it does that allows you to focus in and not be overwhelmed by just everything that's possible in the game.
Because if you start thinking about every which way, even if you're just focusing on one meeple, like I've got a yellow meeple, which is the civilians, and you think about all the different ways you can use it, you will be playing the game forever. But looking at your goals, and that just, not that it restricts, but it helps narrow your focus. Now, you can completely ignore the goals. They are minor points in the grand scheme of things, but they help you play the game. And I found I had a much better time playing the game when I focused on the goals rather than getting overwhelmed by everything that was possible to do.
Right. And then I've seen a lot of games where, oh, here's a goal, and you're completely distracted.
Yeah.
Because that becomes more important to you than the real game, and then therefore you then miss out on a whole ton of points. That's not the case with this game.
No. This helps you make points. Maybe not directly from it, but the stuff you need to do to meet that goal will get you the points you need to win.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Well, just the gameplay feels rewarding. I mean, in everything that you do.
Boy, does it. Yeah, I do this ability. I get this meeple. All right, this meeple lets me go do that thing. That thing, okay, unlocks this thing. All right, well, now I can spend these resources to do that thing, which then gives me this thing and gives me another thing when I'm using thing too much.
There's a lot of chaining.
Yes.
There's a lot of just not snowballing, because it does eventually stop.
But A goes to B, which
Yes.
goes to C, which somehow circles back to A. Then you go to B again, but now you're over on D and E.
Yeah. There is just a lot to do, and those people who love combos and doing something and getting something from that, and then that lets you do other things. This is very much that kind of game, and it feels very good. We love that kind of game.
Yeah, plus the little bits of player interaction that are in here means that you're giving resources and soldier meeples to the other person for them to use.
Right.
So even that has its own little circular, okay, well, let's do this thing now and do that thing now.
Yeah, exactly. Also, for a draw and write or a something and write, it's actually very thematic. It's one of those things that unfortunately we found is a lot of roll and writes fail to really pull through the theme. There's a lot that don't even try, which is fine. But some of the other ones that try, but it still gets boiled down into the mechanisms.
Yes.
You forget about the theme. You forget about whatever it is you're doing. But here, you know that you're gaining a civilian or employing a civilian to open up the theater, which gives you, these different resources like money or whatever.
The ability to put on a performance.
Yes.
And that entertains these people. And so more people are engaged to come and do that and gain that profession.
Yes.
So that's why those meeples come in.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So it has a great game mechanism hook.
Yeah.
As well as a thematics to back it up.
Exactly. And as overwhelming as it is actually pretty fast to play once you know how to play the game. So your first game is probably going to be kind of rocky because there is a lot to do. But your second game going forward, especially if you're using those goals to guide you, it goes really fast. Now, a turn could still take time.
Oh, does it ever?
It can take time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it takes time because you are constantly thinking forward of, okay, I just used this. Now I'm going to do this. Okay, I've got to remember to hold on to these so I can do that action. Once I've unlocked it by doing this to unlock it, then I can use those things. So there's a lot that you're thinking through, but it feels really good and it feels really fast.
Yeah, I even have fun just sitting there and helping Sarah.
Yeah.
She's like, I need a resource. Where do I get a resource? I'm like, well, you can get it from there. No, I can't get it from there because I need the servant and I can't throw it at the mining. Besides, I need to throw 2 servants out there. I was like, okay, what about here? Yes, I can throw a civilian at the diplomacy and that'll give me a resource and then I can do all these things. Yes. Very rewarding.
Very rewarding. All right. I think that, I know we keep saying it's rewarding, but I think that covers about everything we really like about the game.
Yes.
So what we don't like, as much as the game is very thematic, it's a very dry theme. It's...
Yeah, Mile cities and Roman...
We're not super into historical themes, and the historical themes we've seen usually are presented in a very dry manner. And this definitely is like that. And so this is a reason why I was hesitant to get the game, is the mechanisms would probably be even more amazing if it had a more lively theme. But it is what it is. But that is one thing we're not too keen on.
Yeah, the designer is passionate about history.
Yeah.
And it shows through because they'll actually go through and mention different aspects of the history. In fact, one thing that I don't see much is slavery was a thing in Roman culture. And to represent that, one of the meeples are the servants. Those are the ones that represent the slaves. And the designer actually makes a point about he didn't want to essentially use the word slave there because that feels bad. But at the same time, he doesn't want to disregard them from history because it's a very important part to know and learn when bad things happen so we can A, learn from them, and 2, disregarding a complete people is more disrespectful.
Yeah.
In the long run when it comes to remembering the history of things. Agreed.
So we're not keen on the theme, but it is done exceptionally well.
Yes.
Small minor things, the art kind of distracts from the graphic design. The graphic design is really great, but the art can kind of muddy it when you're trying to look for specific information at points. And then another unfortunate part is there is a colorblind issue with the purple and blue meeples. I've heard from other people that they just can't tell them apart, so you'd have to unfortunately mod the game, which you can get stickers, but then you still have to modify cards and the
or
sheets,
create sheets.
or create reference sheets for yourself.
Yes.
And I think for you, well, and actually for me too, one of the downsides is we don't see ourselves playing it too frequently.
Right. So therefore, another problem is because of how thick and how much there is to know about this game, it's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And because of that, if you let it sit for an extended period of time, it's going to be a hard game to just jump back into
Right. It's
and
going to
play.
take time to relearn it.
Yes, because there's just pages and pages of, I mean, just when it was going over the civilian area.
Yeah.
Like, here's the civilian area. It can unlock the market, and this is how the market works, and it can unlock the, what was the other thing? Not the depots. You have to use civilians and servants to unlock these type of districts. There's a small, medium, and large precincts.
Yes, precincts. And
Here's
that's
the precincts.
Thing.
This is
There's
how.
so many things. It's hard to remember the names of all the things.
Yeah, and then here's the performers. It can go to theaters, and it can go to gladiators, and here's the. It was a lot.
Right.
It was a whole lot.
Yep. And I think the only other thing that can be an issue because it's such a large roll and write is, at least for
Not a
me,
roll.
I'm sorry,
A draw and write.
draw and write, is your hand could cramp. I know mine did, but on the other hand, I'm filling out 4 sheets, mine and Will's, so I had to pause frequently for doing that. But even just filling out my own, there are times where I'm like, is my hand really up for this?
Yeah.
Let's get a good pencil.
Or is your back up for it?
Is my back
Because you're
for it
hunched over.
So I think that's everything that we didn't like about the game.
Okay.
So who is this for?
This is your heavy hardcore gamers.
Yes, definitely.
That love a good crunchy draw and write.
Yeah, if you want to think and you want to crunch and you want to do some big comboing, this is the game for you. And if you like the historical theme, because it does come through very strongly.
Yes. Of course, it also doesn't take a long time.
Once you get to playing it.
Comparatively
yeah, comparatively.
to other options that would fit.
The box says 60 minutes, and I would say that's about right.
Oh, if we were playing simultaneous, it would be way under 60 minutes.
Well, now that we've played it, your first game is definitely going to be 60 minutes.
Plus.
Maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for most people, this can be a can't find the word, regularly 60-minute game.
Yeah. Well, for what it's trying to tackle.
Yep.
That's kind of what you'd expect.
All right, let's move on to our ratings.
So for our ratings, we each have 1d6 worth of ratings to give. 1 is low, 6 is high. We give the number, reason why, add them together, and see what it rolled for us. Sarah, what did Hadrian's Wall roll for you?
It rolled a 5. I really enjoy all the paths to victory. It's not quite point salad, but there's a lot of things you can do. And those gold cards guiding you along the way really helps reduce the comprehension level and the overwhelming feelings. Anytime I start getting overwhelmed, I have to stop, reassess, what is it I'm really trying to do? And those gold cards really help me do that. I think what makes it not completely, like a game I'll always play is the fact that it is heavy. So I'm going to have to be mentally up for it. This is a Saturday afternoon game for us because my brain is generally not working in the evenings as well. So we're not going to probably play it as frequently because it's going to need to be some prime time for my brain.
Yes. For me, it also rolled a 5. Again, pretty much everything that Sarah said applies. The thing I like about this game is, unlike other right games, whether it's roll or draw or
Whatever.
or flip, this game has almost what I would call an open world feel, where I have the ability to go with the flow of things as they come up or choose my own path. And there's a lot of things that I just will not do. In fact, we still haven't even built the courthouse once on any of our games. So there's still aspects of the games we just haven't even explored because there's so much to do. The problem with it and why I wouldn't give it a 5 is because of how much it demands right up front. Someone, at least one person, really kind of needs to know this game backwards and forwards.
Yeah, this is not going to be an easy game for a group to learn together that has never played it before.
Right. Someone in that group really needs to play to guide everybody through. And then you could probably get it through. But you need to have someone with that initial investment in that. So it's not, and it's substantial because there is a lot of rules. And we still have to look up, well, what happens with this type of situation?
Right. Or if there's something where, like, this game, I just built this for the first time. I've never built this thing before. How does it work?
Yes. Am I doing it right?
Am I doing this right?
Yeah. So those type of things can trip someone up and keep them from, well, jumping in, playing it, having a game. Again, it's also a very big price point. Yeah,
the cost of this is probably going to stop a lot of people unless you can get it on sale like I did at Cool Stuff Inc. or other online retailers. It's just the thing. The MSRP is high because it is a lot of paper. There's a lot of wooden bits, and there's cards. So it's pretty big component-wise.
Okay. But 10 out of 12 is a spectacular score for a very, very good game. And Sarah.
Yes.
If this game wasn't a Roman-themed game and it can't be magic, what would the theme be to get you excited about it?
You took away my crutch. You know that.
Why do you think I phrased it that way?
Not magic. Oh, geez. But I like fantasy so much. Well, maybe to go slightly different, because everyone does farming, and you don't want to do fantastical farming. But what if you did more like a ranch? Like you're actually taking care of a variety of different animals, and you can have the different areas being what it takes to take care of horses, or cows, or chickens, and goats.
I think this game has enough that you can even do the production of, well, let's turn it into mayonnaise and milk and cheese.
You make products. So you could have a full functioning farm that not only takes care of these different animals, but makes and produces products.
Interesting.
I think so.
Yes. Well, that will do it for us, and we've been Rolling with Reviews. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.